Are you aware that there are more than 10 million EVs in use today? Moreover, the U.S. Department of Transportation reports that in March 2022, more than 200,000 EVs were sold, breaking previous sales records. Now, what comes to mind when you hear the term EVs? Low noise, high efficiency, flexibility in grid operation, and integration plus zero carbon emissions. You would assume that every automaker would hop on board right away because electric cars, or EVs, are a promising technology for developing a sustainable transportation industry in the future. The increasing emphasis on renewable energy sources and the desire to reduce transportation's inherent effects on the environment and climate are two factors contributing to major automakers' decision to market electric vehicles. Even though there is a higher demand for electric cars, a surprising number of companies have not yet announced they will build their own all-electric versions. But this year, things are starting to shift as some of the major automakers in the world focus more on electric cars. Greetings from Elon's empire, gentlemen. Let's discuss Toyota's ridiculous master plan to destroy the entire electric vehicle market in this video. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming content. Japanese car maker Toyota is under fire once more. It's because the business's projects for decarbonization or battery electric vehicles have yet again not advanced enough. The environmental protest against Greenpeace has revised its report, which shows how far behind the competition Japanese automakers are. The group now claim that Japanese automakers have previously had difficulty releasing fully electric automobiles. Although Toyota's Prius was the first hybrid car to be widely purchased, neither the company nor the country have made such progress since then. Japan is the birthplace of modern innovations like quantum computing, smart agriculture, and bullet trains. This makes it an odd subject to talk about. Why does it lag behind EV adoption and decarbonization then? Toyota fought tenaciously against electric cars for nearly 10 years. They did not, however, take into account how things might change in a few years. For instance, Toyota's North American Executive Vice President of Sales was recently cited saying, "I don't think the market is ready for EVs, and I'm not sure the infrastructure was in place at the time it was needed." Basically, all automakers plan to provide fully electric vehicles by the end of the decade. Even now, there is a greater demand than supply for EVs. 3 other states have also passed legislation to ban the sales of gasoline and diesel vehicles by 2035. Tesla is a good example of this. A California-based firm with hundreds of thousands of devoted followers and millions of vehicles on the road has gained notoriety in recent years. In December of last year, Toyota CEO Akio Toyoda revealed his company's revised and enlarged plans to increase the manufacturing of battery electric automobiles. There were several promises of enormous output and immense wealth. In a 25-minute media event, Toyota set a target of 3.5 million battery electric vehicles per year by 2030. You heard correctly. By 2030, there will be 3.5 million yearly battery electric automobiles. To do this, Toyota and Lexus automobiles in each market group will be used. Moreover, a staggering $70 billion have been committed to electrification in its entirety. What does this all really mean, and how can we appropriately contextualize Toyota's promise, especially when seen through the eyes of a car manufacturer who seems to have been forced against his will to produce battery-powered cars? Manufacturers have made staggering investments in electric vehicles during the past 2 years. Last year, on the same day as Tesla's Battery Day, Stellantis announced $35 billion global investments in EVs. Ford and GM battled it out to see which of the Detroit automakers would invest the most in EV batteries and manufacturing facilities in the US. Along with its dominance in photovoltaic solar cells and small-format lithium-ion cells, China plans to control the global supply of EV batteries. Many all-electric vehicles have also been launched in Europe. The largest statement ever made by an OEM worth $70 billion was then made by Akio Toyoda. The news made headlines in the business press, and some saw Toyota's declaration as an admission that electric vehicles are the future. The media has long been misconstruing the term electrification, which does not relate to electric cars. The majority of these will be plug-in hybrid variations of the same vehicles, or Toyota hybrids similar to those seen over the last 20 years. Toyota, on the other hand, has declared that it will devote $35 billion exclusively to the development of battery electric vehicles, even if this would only tie the firm with GM. This signifies a considerable improvement over its prior EV targets. The electric car from Toyota ambitions are increasing in scope and cost. According to Akio Toyota, Toyota intends to boost its investments in battery technology by 500 billion yen or $4.4 billion up to 2 trillion yen. During the next 5 years, Toyota plans to spend 4 trillion yen on battery electric vehicles, including capital investments and R&D. Toyota will also make a 4 trillion yen investment in future fuel cell, plug-in, and hybrid electric vehicles that run on Move. Toyota is now developing EV versions of its automobiles. Toyota introduced the 2022 EZ4X small SUV, a coupe SUV, a tiny SUV, a medium sedan, and a sizable SUV with a third-row seating at the Los Angeles Auto Show, in addition to another 4 vehicles. The number of EV concepts increased to 16, including Toyota and Lexus models. Lexus will be the company's electric vehicle front, while Toyota will offer electric automobiles across the board. Imagine an RX that is only powered by a battery, akin to General Motors' declaration that Cadillac, the company's luxury brand, will move to electric vehicles. This is how a new chapter for the premium brand was displayed with the RZBV SUV camouflage. In terms of automotive innovation, Tesla has also adopted the custom of introducing its products in the priciest automobiles first. By 2030, the luxury line of Toyota plans to sell entirely battery electric automobiles in Asia, Europe, and North America. That will happen in just 8 years, 23 years after Tesla. By 2035, it wants all of its international sales to be EVs. It is crucial for Akio Toyota to look at the history of the company's research and development of electric vehicles. As a compliance vehicle, Toyota designated the 1996 Toyota RAV4 EV a battery-powered small SUV only sold in California. It is a car that is only offered in the amounts and places necessary to satisfy legal requirements. How steadfast is Toyota, though, in electrifying its fleet? Toyota will now do whatever it takes to get what it wants. The most pressing question is whether electric Toyotas will be competitive in EVs while upholding the brand's reputation for dependability and longevity. While cars frequently get better over multiple generations, even if the initial concept was mediocre, this is not always the case with automobiles. The BZ4X initially seems to be deficient in fundamental features. Toyota anticipates that the EPA will assess the model range at 250 miles by 2022, which isn't very good, but the vehicle won't feature plug-and charge technology and won't point users to nearby charging stations using its navigation system. Even more astonishingly, it lacks both a front trunk and a glove box. On the other hand, Toyota is the only producer in the world to promise that its electric vehicle battery will still have 90% of its rated range after 10 years. For first-time purchasers worried about range loss, one of the most frequent worries among people considering buying an electric vehicle, this is a huge gain. In order to ensure that its warranty will be upheld, Toyota has reserved additional battery capacity that will enable the vehicle to continue to provide a consistent driving range even if the battery eventually fails. Few businesses have so far offered battery capacity guarantees for their electric cars, and none have done so for the following 10 years. That will ultimately depend on how well Toyota's cars stack up against the competition and how many the corporation intends to sell. The business has yet to convince proponents of EVs that it is committed to the technology. Yet Toyota has a strong foothold in the EV market already that is unquestionably favorable in a market with intense competition. Will you ever think about buying a Toyota EV, or is it still too early to decide?